WBDC affiliate in Decatur. A little more than a year later, she came across a much better opportunity at WMBD, CBS, WYZZ, I got all that right, Fox in Peoria, Illinois. She has been morning noon meteorologist since July of 2014, and this past December, she graduated with a master's degree in Mississippi State University. As a Central Illinois native, she feels lucky for the opportunity to serve an area that she can call home. And let's kick it over to you.
Yay! Yeah, I've been coming to this since 2014 when it started over in Morton. I'm going to talk about some of the more recent tornadoes we've had in our viewing area, Peoria, Pontiac, and most recently the Washburn tornadoes. Where are my loyal viewers at? Raise your hand. Thank you, I appreciate it, love you all. I'm on WMBD CBS weekday mornings from 5 to 7 a.m. and then over on our sister station WYZZ Fox from 7 to 9 a.m., which that's also the Fox show. That's actually a fairly new show. We launched that last January in 2016. Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates, he put together some of these graphics, and I, of course, pulled from them, but this just gives us an idea climatologically and what we typically see month to month tornado-wise here in Illinois. Month of February on the far left, we usually only average one tornado, but we've already kicked off an early spring season. April through June, those are the 3 months in Illinois that we average the highest number of tornadoes. And then Chris Yates broke it down by each county, and in particular Tazewell, McLean, and Logan counties. Those three counties, this is by the way only from 1950 to 2014, so this is not including these last couple of years, but you can see that Tazewell, Logan, and McLean average the most tornadoes per year. So Chris and I were thinking, well, McLean County, geographically, if you look at it, it is a larger area, a larger population of people. You have Illinois State University, but also we were thinking about the topography too, because if you look at a map, geologically, you can see the elevation is actually higher over east central Illinois, where the reds and the blue colors are. That's where the greatest elevation is. I know you don't really consider topography here in central Illinois because we're really flat. We only average like 600, 700 feet above sea level in elevation. But about 10, 12,000 years ago, we had the most recent glacial advance, the Wisconsin glacial advance. So those end moraines kind of carved out east central Illinois area, and that's why when you head from Peoria to Bloomington Normal, those glacial moraines, you actually see a 300 feet elevation increase. So maybe that increase in elevation from west to east across the central Illinois area kind of helps in the lift for the storms that move from west to east. So maybe that's why we see more tornado reports in the Tazewell, McLean County areas. 2016 Illinois tornadoes, we had 45 total. 39 of them were in EF0 or EF1. 6 of them were in EF2, and 0 were in EF4 or 5. And the 2 we're focusing in from 2016 are the Pontiac and Peoria tornadoes. The Pontiac was in EF2. Peoria one was actually almost exactly a year ago, March 15th of 2016. It started a little after 8 o'clock in the evening, and it traveled almost 4 miles, and it was about 200 yards wide at its greatest point. This is the path of that Peoria tornado, and I remember it just passed about a half mile north of our station. We're at 3131 North University Street in Peoria, so it passed just about a half mile north of our station before it dissipated near Peoria Heights. I think that's Forest Park is where it ended up dissipating, but it was an EF0 tornado. That was the setup for the day of March 15th of last year for the Peoria tornado. Cold front off to the west, soundings and photograph for that day. Let me see what I had for my notes here. Let's see. There was a really strong cap earlier in the day that day, so that's going to put a lid on the atmosphere. And once the storms did actually erupt, well, they're definitely going to erupt if they were able to break out of that cap. There was a lot of directional shear at the low levels. The analog soundings, or if you go back and look at soundings that were similar to this particular event, it hinted at the possibility of supercells and significant hail. That was the Storm Prediction Center outlook for that day. Parts of central Illinois were under enhanced risk for severe storms, and that is pretty good. So tornado watch went out for our whole viewing area until 9 o'clock that evening. The Storm Prediction Center said with the watch, a few tornadoes appear likely, and some tornadoes may be intense. Large hail greater than 2 inches expected. Isolated events greater than 3-inch hail will be possible with these storms. This was one of the first severe thunderstorm warnings that happened at 8:34 that evening. A lot of these warnings radar indicated 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts and half-dollar size hail. Side-by-side look at the velocity and the reflectivity. You have the velocity on the left and the reflectivity on the right as the storm's moving from west to east into Peoria. 822 continues on its eastward path. It was officially rated as an EF0 tornado. So here's a look at some of the damage, courtesy of the National Weather Service in Lincoln. I took these from their website. I pass that house every day when I go to the gym on the corner of Lake and University. Peoria Heights, that was where the tornado eventually ended up dissipating. And the Pontiac tornado happened 3 months later in June of 2016. Traveled a little over 11 miles, 4 injuries reported with that, and it was officially rated as an EF2. That was the path of the Pontiac tornado. Started well west-northwest of Pontiac, and then it fizzled out to the southeast. Maximum sustained peak winds at 125 miles per hour. This was a surface setup for that day. It was actually kind of a complex system, not something you would typically see with a severe storm day setup, but a warm front was moving from south to north and was redeveloping boundary moving northward. Then that warm front that was kind of draped over parts of our area, it got remodified with outflow boundaries. We had storms that night before that just helped provide moisture, outflow boundaries, and that kind of helped the setup for the storms that following night. Dew points were in the 70s the evening of this event. Surface capes were above 6,000, the most unstable layer cape. We were confident of severe storms for areas along and north of I-80, but as you get closer to I-74, we were kind of less confident if our more southern areas would see severe storms that evening. Tornado watch was issued for these areas then. The Storm Prediction Center said that severe storms were expected and capable of hail greater than 2.5 inches in diameter, 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and greater. Tornado warning, one of the first tornado warnings issued that evening at 7:30. Jump ahead to 9:45, that tornado warning, and you can kind of see that hook echo on the radar there of that tornado warning. Keep jumping ahead. So now again, a side-by-side look at the velocity on the left and the reflectivity on the right of that storm as it moved through with the tornado just south on the south side of Pontiac. And by 11:20, it was east of the area. This is EF2 damage from our WMBD team coverage, just to give you an idea of what EF2 damage can do. Yeah, that one, woof, don't want to be in that car. More damaged pictures. That was a very large tree uprooted there. And then most recently, of course, the Washburn tornado. I was telling my grandpa, I had a long day on Tuesday, and he was like, why? Why was your day so long? And I said, well, we had severe weather, and he was like, we did? I just saw a few lightning strikes, but that was about it. Now, parts of our area, yeah, we got rocked pretty hard. The last day of February, I mean, As if February wasn't already crazy enough with the record warm from Mother Nature, well, she wanted to throw in the severe weather event that day. 5:26 to 5:50 is the time of the Washburn tornado. It traveled 18 miles. At its greatest point, it was 600 yards wide and rated an EF3 tornado. It basically rode along the Marshall and Woodford County line before it dissipated just south of Rutland. That was the path of the Washburn tornado. Yeah, we had another complex setup that day with the warm front lifting through, and the cold front, though, is still pretty far off to our west over the plains. I noticed on the National Weather Service chat, there were a lot of folks asking, is this it? Are we done? Are we done? Well, no, it wasn't just one all said and done round. We actually had a couple of rounds of severe storms move through that evening, and what was delaying that second round, more widespread round, because the cold front was still back off to the west. This was the setup for that day. We just had unseasonably warm, moist air being drawn in from the Gulf of Mexico with the warm front, and then off to the west you have the cold front and very strong winds, the jet stream just blasting off over the top of all of that, aiding in just the overall instability for that day. For February, let alone, was just pretty good. This is, by the way, forecast sounding of the NAM, the day of the event, and just, textbook clockwise curve photograph on the right, hinting at a PDS tornado, particularly dangerous situation, and with caves, just everything off the charts for the month of February in central Illinois. So about half of our viewing area was in the red and enhanced risk for severe storms that evening. But just because not everybody was in the red, the enhanced risk, everybody, we still needed to be weather aware that day. So this was the first tornado warning that popped at 5:08 that evening. You can already see a little hook, a little appendage developing on the far left of that storm, and even a little donut hole forming on the radar there just north of Washburn. That was the tornado warning. And then the velocity